but it still remains to be seen what can Cloud9 do. They didn't seem to get much out of their mid laner in Jensen in the previous game. We'll see if anything else comes out of it this one, as we are into the beginnings of picks and bans. LeBlanc off the table. Kalista, no surprise here to be banned. First round red side by SKT.
Obviously, LeBlanc is a pick that both mid laners actually would like to play, but C9 really respecting that Faker could grab it here for himself in that first phase just before you start banning away two of the counter picks going into the second phase, and that's why they remove it so early on in the draft.
Both Jarvan and the double Ardent Sensor supports are available right now as well. So the last bans here are actually going to be interesting to see what we trade.
And you've also got all the allowed to be picked marksmen up for the bot lane as well. Of course, we know Kalista's gone every single game, but the other sort of big four are around.
Yeah, and we have actually seen Jarvan being left open quite a lot recently, despite him being picked in every single game when he's there early because he's so impactful. You can flex him to the top lane as well. And when there's Janna and Lulu, some teams like to just first pick the Jarvan and then trade the two supports anyway, despite Janna actually being the better one against the Jarvan. You kind of take that risk.
That being said, Cloud9 is one of the teams where, you know, Contracts has this different jungle pool, and he's played a lot of these offensive carry junglers. You can build Jarvan with warriors as well, so they could still decide to go with that and then slap a warrior on Jarvan.
Looks like SKT going to add that to the Galio ban, and this Janna pick I think is very likely. This time around they banned the Kog'Maw, so the Kog-Lulu duo is not available. It's one of the things that they were so afraid of when they played Edward Gaming earlier, which is why they had picked the champion then. So that duo at least off the table for Bang & Wolf.
Yeah, you can still play Lulu Twitch, which we just saw in the last game. You can just grab the Twitch here together with a Jarvan and then take the Lulu in the next rotation. For SKT, if they want to have Bang on that late game champion, there's of course still Tristana there and Varus, who's also been picked so often.
Yeah, we've seen SKT have success around Bang before. The extra speed from Lulu is why people really, especially at the beginning of groups, feared this pick when compared to the Janna, which is going to be more of an AoE reset and team-wide protection.
And Jarvan actually not being looked at just yet by SKT. Again, we know the Graves pick is something C9 likes against it. We know Janna is a good pick against Jarvan as well. It might be enough to actually sway SKT away from it. And just when we say it, they do decide to lock it in. And I think this is the correct choice. When Jarvan is available, you take him.
Yeah, I mean, he just offers so much versatility. In Champ Select, you can flex him. He could be top lane or jungle. Plus, in the actual game, you have options to go in as well as out.
It's also interesting watching SKT's draft. They are prioritizing reaction over priority. There was no rush in grabbing the Lulu. You're going to get that 100% of the time if you want it, but they want to wait to see what's in the composition before they pick what you assume to be the bot lane carry here. Double marksman coming through, the Ezreal again for Contract, and the Xayah in for Sneaky.
And you got to respect that, you know, taking the Ezreal, the snowballing jungler against SKT, saying we can outplay them in the early game, we can get this jungler ahead. We know that Jarvan, he's fine just going to the late game. He doesn't need to do anything early.
Yeah, the North American junglers, once they got here to Worlds, have been really infatuated with this Ezreal pick. Smithy picking a bunch as well. It definitely is risky, but it gives you that jump start to the game. You know, where is Ezreal going to start? He can actually start on an enemy red buff or something like that and immediately get into counter jungling. SKT, though, the classic weather the storm and turn it around later.
We talked about the Twitch coming in from SKT. Now the Kog'Maw here was banned away, so no big surprise. With the AD carry pick, I just want to see bans now, because typically when you're matching all the roles in the first phase, you either target purely top lane or purely mid lane. We've seen a lot of like double mid lane bans coming in, and then you
pick one right away.
Yeah, then you pick one right away, and you have a good matchup guaranteed for your Syndra, your Ryze, whichever one it is. We tend to see as a blind pick, but it is Shen first being removed, and junglers actually from C9 because the Jarvan, of course, can go up to top lane.
And it's specifically the counter picks to the Ezreal. They've shown their own jungler here, causing, of course, a very big pick into it, which is why that ban is in.
And I do like these bans from SKT because Cloud9 have already showed that they're trying to go with one of those earlier styles in Snowball, and people have been very critical of Shen, but Impact has been one of the players to really perform on this champion and use it very early and proactively, so you kind of remove some of the power from the early game there.
And the Trundle ban sets up for a potential Cho'Gath or Maokai top lane as an early blind pick, and then you can last pick for Faker if you want to here on the side of SKT to try and give him a good matchup against Jensen. There's also the Flex Jace, obviously.
That's why people are okay with kind of leaving up Maokai a lot of the time, is because you can pick a lot of champions into the Maokai to bully him if you show that pick too early.
We'll see what comes through from Impact then, because Cloud9 need to lock in their solo lanes here against this Flex Jace and the Flex Jarvan. You never know what it's going to be exactly. Syndra might be the first blind, but still wait to see what Impact's going to pick.
And if it's going to be a mid lane Jace. We almost need to see Rumble come in from Huni to add some AP damage, and C9 should obviously know that as well, and can lock in a top laner who would do fine against a potential Rumble. But of course, you gotta respect that Jace can just go top lane.
Salute to Europe here with the Yasuo.
Yeah, that Yasuo, that didn't happen. Actually,
Hey, went 1-1.
It gave NA their first win in week 2, actually.
Yeah. Shout out to Europe giving us 1 win. Maybe it's the only one. We'll see what happens. Maokai, not a huge surprise coming in for Impact. You expect that with everything else on the table. Now the last pick through for SKT, and it's Fizz in the mid lane.
So part of the reason you can still go with the Maokai into a Jace pick is because of this Ezreal jungle that you have on your side. So there is a possibility Cloud9 try and protect Impact early on with the Maokai, try and get him up to the point where he gets Bramble Vest. Then you get to use your auto to heal up, and the Jace has less of an easy time of bullying you.
I also really like the gank setup he brings. Again, it's a point-and-click snare, so if this Jace is just blindly pushing you down and the jungler shows up or a mid lane roam, it's so easy to lock down Jace and just set it up for an easy kill.
And those have been, you know, some of the criticisms of Huni in the regular season.
Oh, yeah.
Were, you know, pushing up like that, and part of the reasons we saw so much Untara was that Untara was not the one to expose himself in those situations.
We'll see what happens here. SKT versus Cloud9. Both teams coming in with a loss at the beginning of the day. Both these teams, though, expected to have made it out of the group stage based on week 1 results, but week 2 is where it really comes down to. Every gaming
coming for you.
Exactly, they are, and none of these teams are safe. We'll see what happens. The coaches shake hands for what could be the last time of the World Championship here. Lineups on your screen one more time. Cloud9 representing North America, the last hope here in the region. North America 1-8 so far in week 2, hoping it won't be 1-10 at the end of it all. SK Telecom T1 reigning world champions. They did not win in Korea. That was Longju's honor, but SKT still a phenomenal team. And we'll see if they can win it here and lock down that first seed. So we take a look at the beautiful crowd here in Wuhan, getting ready for our game.
It's always a scary thing with SKT, even when you feel like they've had a...
Here we are onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Cloud9 versus SK Telecom T1. North America versus South Korea. And the Korean squad, SKT, could secure the third and final Korean team into the top 8. They take the first seed out of this group. One of the bosses of the quarterfinals. Cloud9 hoping to look good. They actually have a chance of taking #1 themselves. They can win here and again later on in the day.
I actually kind of like this invade here. C9 are going to get deep wards on the top side of the map, while SKT get deep wards on the bottom side. Seeing a Fizz and a Jace as your solo laners with a Jarvan would make you think that Blank would want to play around the top triangle of the map. Basically, junglers early on would want to choose one of those two sides for their early presence. And Faker and Huni are definitely two that would benefit.
Let's talk more about Blank specifically, because I'm actually very happy to see him play now after Peanut's not been doing a whole lot in the last few games for SKT, not been very active in the early game. Been somewhat the same story also in the LCK summer split, where he's no longer that all-in aggressive jungler. He's actually trying to be much more passive. I feel like Blank is now the guy with the better early game. He's much more proactive. He loves to invade and coordinate with Faker, and that's something I want to see here. Yeah,
we definitely have to go over the difference in Blank this year compared to people who remember Blank on SKT last year and him being the sub, him kind of being backup. Blank has been outstanding for the team this time around. Now they're going to start out with this red invade for him, and he should be able to secure this buff unless that Twitch poison is going to take it, which...
It's pretty easy to actually calculate the numbers on your attacks anyway and be fine. Context, of course, in a very similar boat. Going to smite red to be sure he's safe. Blank did save his summoner, burns it here on the Raptors.
Yeah, Faker should be expecting this. He actually takes a decent trade out from Contracts.
And look at that, and that's 400 health off right there. That's kind of what he wanted. Faker, of course, knew that was a red start, lost 400 health without chugging the right side of the map.
All right, Blank actually changes his mind here. Doesn't go bottom. He's going to go mid to try and punish Jensen.
Here we go, Jensen playing pretty far up. Level 1 still for Faker, level 2 for Jensen. Does not go for the flash for the knockup just yet. He's going to walk back. Contract is here as well. So I'm going to be dodged out by Playful Trickster. And no harm, no foul towards North America.
Jensen keeping it very cool, knowing his own jungler is around. And again, it's a level 1 Fizz. You're not really too afraid of that potential all-in.
Contracts over here chasing behind Blank. I want to make sure he didn't sweep back into the river, by the way, for another repeat gank. I think a lot of this, as we said before, top triangle of the map, very important and can be influenced quickly.
Yeah, and he got to check his own blue buff because Blank could have technically gone straight towards it and grabbed it. Contract's checking around as well. Now he sees Blank is actually walking through the front door.
Yeah, once you get full vision, then Ezreal does have the advantage with the extra range here. Red buff slow is applied.
And no mana for the Arcane Shift cooldown either. Worth pointing out, actually, both these junglers low on mana because they went machete starts and haven't gotten their blue buffs yet. So not a lot of spells available. Blank going to run down to his blue side. Of course, he's got his smite up. Shouldn't be a problem. Contract similar.
Yeah, small win for Contracts here. I love to start both junglers around mid lane, trading with each other. Contracts, he's back in the mid lane.
I mean, he's going to contest the other blue buff here. Like we said, this Ezreal jumpstarts your early game, and he doesn't want to let Blank get any time to get any sort of gank stuff here. So he goes blue to blue, cross right over.
And we also have right now Smoothie able to actually move from the bottom lane because they pushed SKT all the way to the tower. So Contracts is feeling very safe.
Yeah, very smart play from Contract so far. Again, knew Blank didn't have the resources to take the Wolves very easily. This blue should be smiteable without a problem.
And as we talked about Blank here and going over him, the differences from last year, Contracts is a guy, he was nowhere near Worlds last year. This guy is very new to the stage, and he's been performing with a lot of confidence here in group stage, which is definitely admirable for one of these newer players on this big stage, especially from the jungle position. That is incredibly important.
Incredibly team dependent. I mean, Contract this time last year is ending his Challenger Series 1 with Cloud9 Challenger. They qualified in. He got promoted to the main squad Challenger. C9C became FlyQuest, as we all saw. And yeah, Contracts has done very well with his new team.
And one of the things I love is he's a homegrown talent. So he's super valuable for an organization like C9, who already sits with Jensen and Impact as import here. The fact you have now a jungler where you don't have to worry about taking up any slots or anything. He's just going to be there on this team in North America and be super valuable the next few years as well.
And right now, it looks like they're actually saving this blue buff for the next time that Jensen would come back out to lane, so he'll have maximum time with it. Not quite sure if Contracts will actually take it or if he's waiting to hand that one off. Well, maybe he is actually going to take it for himself for the extra experience boost before he returns.
See what happens right now. Both mid lane at level 5 right here. 3 for both the junglers. Blue doesn't look like a handoff. He's pushing it down pretty fast, so Jensen will not have this for his first run through the mid lane. Maybe the second one gets stolen. We'll see what happens.
Let's talk about the Jace in the top lane as well here from SKT. It's been a pick. We've seen quite a few teams, you know, pick now and not be too successful on it. Up in the top lane, TSM yesterday, HQ just before this one. You need to make sure this Jace can play aggressive in the early game. You need to play around him as a jungler, especially with vision, so you can bully out this Maokai.
And actually, even if you don't go there as a jungler, if you disallow the other jungler from interfering, then Jace is just going to take his toll in the Maokai, right? We've already seen Huni bullying Impact so much that he had to recall and use his teleport before the Bramble Vest purchase, which is really kind of the key breakpoint there. Yeah. If your jungler allows you to get it, then it's really helpful. But you know, the 2 cloth armors there is going to mean that next time Impact goes back, should be able to grab it.
And this game as well with a Jace, you can for sure just go straight for Ghostblade because you're going to do so much damage to 4 of the 5 members on C9. There'll be very little armor stacked on everyone except for Impact specifically. And if he does go for Ghostblade, it's because he's saying, I don't need to just purely win my lane. I also need to join my team in the mid game and then provide some serious DPS.
Right here, fighting the bot lane right there. Fang does get rooted up. Nice little trade there by Sneaky. +6 right now for the Cloud9 duo, doing pretty well for themselves against one of the world's very best duo lanes. The stun coming through as well. This Shark comes through onto Jensen. Here comes the fight into the mid lane. Blank to join at level 4. Contract the same. Out goes Faker. Blank going to do a bit of damage, but it's going to be the minions dying to the turret.
And Contract shows early in this just to try and get some DPS out. They're just trying to have that pressure down bottom, though. Sneaky on the run.
Wow, somebody who used just to be safe about this one now. Wolf's got to be careful. No, Blade Caller just yet gets to walk away cleanly enough. Sneaky, of course, out of mana. Can't do much more with that one. Right now, gold +200 for Cloud9 in the early landing phase.
Ooh, Wolf and the rest of SKT's bottom side might look for a kill on Sneaky, at least trying to force a flash. Wolf trying to position very aggressively. Still have some mana. Sneaky low on mana, low on HP.
Yeah, only flashes for this bot lane. The rest of the summoners are all on cooldown for both sides here, and Bang, certainly more resources than Sneaky.
Now this early game reminds me a bit of last week when C9 played SKT and Contracts tried to put a lot of time around the mid lane. But in this game here, he's not gone over-aggressive. He's not actually just flash straight onto Faker and try and force a play. He's just been constantly walking in and poking Faker and making sure that it's Jensen controlling the lane. It's a really good start for C9 to get the upper hand here.
See, the late game looks good under this one. Another look towards the mid lane from Contracts. Isn't keeping his jungle dead all the time, but both jungles level 5. It's not too big of an issue. Looking at the toll in top lane, plus 10 CS, and the first level 7 is Huni. He's actually got himself a very charming inventory. It's not necessarily going to be a tier build. It might just be for the mana regen, and he'll sell it later, but we almost never see tier JC anymore, so interesting to see that at all.
While this time that Contract is spinning around mid as well is, you know, affording Jensen the power to punish in this lane and know that there isn't going to be that case of the double level 6 jungle and mid all in. However, it is costing Contract some gold in the jungle. Blank is actually ahead, both in gold and experience slightly. Now that Jensen knows he doesn't have Contracts next to him though, hovering by his vision on the bottom side, those control wards, is your safety area. We did also see Blank here going up towards the scuttle. Should be fine.
And as you mentioned earlier as well, Kobe, Blank doesn't need to gank the lane up in the top lane for Huni to win. He just needs to constantly make sure he knows where enemy jungler is and there's a bit of vision down for the Jason. It's been happening in this game and no one has gone top lane really to do anything.
However, I don't think this lead is big enough for what you expect in Jace versus Maokai. Plus 8 is pretty small what you expect for the matchup. Plus 15 feels more average for the state of the game.
I think for Huni, it's not necessarily about getting, you know, the biggest CS lead possible. It's can he get a bit of damage on tower? And can he then actually get impact down to about 50% HP? And they can coordinate a tower dive then with the Jarvan, with the Fist, and take the tower in just one turn. I see this quite often with these lanes where it's all about just having control and then poke slightly and wait for the big tower dive, and then you take the objective.
Let's see if it comes in here. 1 minion lost to the turret. A couple of autos can come through when he wants it. Still getting poke onto impact, and as you mentioned, down to about 3/4 here. Maybe needs a little bit more onto him.
Slow and steady.
Yeah. And you can see as the lane resets plus 9. Again, that's the lead right now on a lane reset. See what comes in next.
The other thing to look out for in that matchup is that when Jace keeps up this pressure, usually the team will make a conscious decision of either we would rather save turret health and have Maokai teleport back to that lane to keep up with the pressure. Well, bottom side though.
And he misses the root. Sneaky's got to be careful. He's got to... Nope, doesn't even get to do anything about it. Barrier was up, but the Contaminate came through first. Blood in for Bang. SKT's bot lane off well.
And you can actually see that Contaminate projectile coming towards you. There is time to barrier as it comes towards you. So Sneaky probably decided that it wasn't going to kill him or just didn't react in time.
I'm pretty sure even your ultimate gives you something as well. Short range shark comes through, gets the knockup. But look at that damage into Jensen. Dunk comes through, flashes it though, and the barrier's going to block none of the damage. Fake gets the kill into the mid lane. SKT 2-0.
It all starts with one mistake from C9 around that blue buff where suddenly Sneaky is caught out alone. He dies, and instantly you see the Lulu move to the mid lane, joined by the jungler, and Faker knows he can all in now.
Thing to watch is how quickly SKT punish here. Blank even going in for this blue buff. He does have his smite, so while Impact is trying to stop him, going to be able to smite that away no problem.
Not a chance there on that one. So a buff going away. SKT gets revenge for the earlier blue buff. And look at this now, Huni getting that damage on the turret. Done a half already.
All right, let's see it again here. So Sneaky's alone. Smoothie's up here with Jensen and Contracts. And SKT's bot lane just surprised Sneaky completely.
Yeah, and that's the key. The support right next to Bang there. So he gets the extra bonuses from Lulu. And Sneaky just gets annihilated very quickly.
Ult in the bot lane, going to be wave clear, and Bang still feels pretty good about this one. BF Sword plus Zeal in there. Again, a different sort of build from him, not doing quite the same Hurricane Rush, getting something else in the inventory, but Huni still putting damage on it at Impact.
This is the slow and steady poking towards both Impact and the tower we mentioned before here. He actually did complete the tier as well on this Jace, so want to go for even more siege potential where he can actually land a few more big shock blasts before he runs out of mana.
And that thing is going to provide so much value, even when he has to join the rest of the team. Faker gets ulted.
Nice flap gets away from the stuns though, but he's still out of abilities to get away from things. No more CC to land. Faker gets away pretty cleanly. Down in CS, but that kill means he's winning this game.
Towards the later stage of the game, if we return to this Jace, he's going to be aiming just to get any shock blast past the Maokai, because while Janna's shields
get it past the goalkeeper.
Exactly, are great. If he is able to land that goal and hit anyone behind, it's very difficult for them to sustain it back up. She'll try and put an Ardent, buff on someone, but there will have to be things to auto attack around.
And right now we're seeing full control when it comes to vision. This minimap here, it's all red at the moment, and SKT are just in the jungle of C9. Contracts into face check now.
Melee range, knockup's gonna be there. This could be enough to kill off Contracts. It's a shield in there for this one. It's Smoothie waiting to cast the ultimate. It's a force flash out of Blank. Now, is there gonna be a chase for Jensen? His ulti, of course, still down from the damage to Faker. Blank getting low, true shot barrage to land. Out into the dragon, but he's gonna be fine.
I mean, maybe there was a possibility there of Smoothie using the ultimate to heal Contracts and try and knock Blank, you know, closer to the team, a little bit deeper for a play, but they hold on to some of the cooldowns. This Dragon is definitely still a possibility, and they do force Blank back to the jungle.
Very important defense from C9. They're winning that little skirmish here. No kill, but the fact you can actually go in and at least put down a few of your own wards, so it's not just completely red, and SKT can just set up a bot lane tower dive with Faker's teleport at the same time. That is kind of stopped, at least for now. Buys a bit more time for Cloud9, but man, they are under so much pressure against this double TP and just having no real lane they can play around at the moment.
SKT have so many options right now. The whittling down of this top turret you're talking about, Officio, is becoming a reality. Faker's teleport on Fizz is available, and he's almost to that level 11 point where you become very, very scared of that ult combo.
Maybe if they can bait Faker to go aggressive here, they can actually try and kill him and get some damage on the mid lane tower. Mid lane seems to be the easiest lane for him to go towards. Faker, though, is not using his defensive abilities. He's only just dashing forward, ready to always jump back towards the tower.
That is the important thing. If Jensen's in range, they don't know if Contract is there or not. He never hits the playful trickster, only when the mid laner's out of range of him. Another trade on the top lane. Impact getting a bit lower, and we're seeing the junglers move to that side as well. Trade's beginning. Blank's going to be just first to play, but Contract right behind. Here comes the battle. 2-on-2. Back forced to run. The flash coming around. He's going to get back away over the cats. But here comes Fizz. He's going to be in range. The shark is going to land. He's going to chomp down, and Maokai is dead. Faker with a second kill of the game.
That Faker teleport we talked about doesn't even have to be level 11. Gonna land that with a level 1 ult and secure the kill on the Impact. Here comes Contract to try and delay some backs, but he's really just trying to get a little bit of time for Jensen to push up, and it is a bit of a dangerous game.
1 versus 3. He chased in, and Faker's behind him. The damage certainly going to be there. You have to expect the ulti coming across, but he burns the flash for nothing. Blank's back in and turns the health bar to just that.
We've seen this a few times now. Actually, wait for it, bot lane.
2-on-2 this time around. They know the junglers aren't available, but Huni could TP in a little bit. Smoothie getting out of HP. He's forced to flash away, but he's out of summoners now. Only the flash and the barrier for Sneaky getting away, but SKT getting the better of that fight.
Jensen is on the way. There's no TPs right now from SKT. He's moving in here behind the tower.
Huni, let's see where the rest of the squad is going. Jensen here has the ultimate, has zone barrier, looks for Wolf for some damage, looking for the stun's going to get that. Sneaky's in the fight as well, and Wolf should be dying the first kill of the board for Cloud9. Huni coming around the side. Shock blast going to land. Nearly kills out Smoothie. That turret is low. SKT Force already have gotten the first for themselves. The rest of the squad is here. Blank joining in, gets the ulti across Impact, actually pulling in tower aggro as well. He's in 1v3, nearly gets a kill, and they do. Jensen finds the stun, and Impact survives against his old team as well.
Very important. Cloud9 gets a few kills and a bot lane tower here. They had a few fights mid and top lane, didn't go their favor, but down in the bottom lane, nice roam from Jensen. And then we gotta remember when Huni joined, he sits right there with some CDR and a tier, not pure damage, so he couldn't actually one-shot Smoothie.
Yeah, and Impact here with the Righteous Glory plus Ninja Tabi was already fairly well equipped to sustain a lot of the damage that was coming from the bottom side. You know, Twitch and Jarvan and Jace all hitting him. He's got pretty much perfect itemization to tank that under the turret, uses Twisted Advance to dodge a turret shot, and that's why he survived so long, even in that Cataclysm.
So let's see the trade in the bot lane as well. Plus TP coming in for the tower dive. Jensen uses ult early to guarantee landing the stun right after. Not really possible for Wolf to escape after all these balls are already on the ground. And here you see the damage from Huni just not being enough with his current build to actually secure the kill. Right back into action. Sneaky almost dying.
Yeah, the barrier used. Makes it dangerous. Of course, got Essence Reaver. He's got the Zerg Greaves as well, but not extra magic resist. This Fizz can be scary. He's got the Proto Belt off cooldown. Ready to go. Faker, 5 stacks in the Dark Seal. Is going to be scary. Bang in the mid lane. Ulti pop. Looks for Jensen. Damage here, but a big stun gets him out. No major pain used here on this one. True shot barrage across.
Impact is coming down the river, but SKT see him. So SKT only have to respect the area that Maokai is in, because all the other members of Cloud9 are very squishy right now, and SKT have so many assassins they can jump on those members. But wherever Impact is where C9 should be trying to play around.
We do see it's, of course, 1 tank per team. Impact, the 1 tank member on his squad, and it is Cinder Hulk Jarvan out of Blank. Makes sense, of course. Everyone else is ranged, or at least squishy on his squad. Get under siege right now by Cloud9. Blank the only frontliner. He's not going in. His Q is on cooldown, which means there is no threat, and Cloud9 get the mid lane down.
And I really like the fact that we have a game now with so many squishy champions. We don't have these like 6 tanks in the game where no one will die. It's actually so many guys who can get bursted down very quickly.
that really emphasizes the skill shots hitting here. The landing of your crowd control can mean instant death for one of these guys. And the reactions we already talked about. Oh, here we go, Impact.
Reaction to the top lane, putting damage onto Huni, who is not tanky by any means. He goes down, Impact finds the kill.
Jensen, smart, playing around Impact, who sets this all up. He can stand in front of the Jace, soak that shock blast. They easily 2v1 that kill on the former North American LCS player.
And just a few minutes ago, we had 3 to 4 kills for SKT. They got first top lane tower as well. It looked really bad for Cloud9 after some poor decisions.
Oh, Sneaky.
Bot lane.
Look at damage onto Sneaky. Getting his health bar dropped down a little bit. Blakely not going to land. Bank kites away from that one. Look at the damage output. 110 HP left. That is a Xayah who has to recall.
No barrier this time here, but as I was just saying before here, SKT, after getting that lead, have now actually been outplayed by C9. Down the bot lane especially, where we got the kills and the tower. That was huge for Cloud9.
It was. SKT are about to get some more gold here with the bottom turret, though, and some more territory. Look at the wards on the map. SK Telecom completely warding up this bottom half of the map of C9, so they have the freedom to move around. They can take the bottom turret. They can take the Cloud Drake, and it makes it very, very scary for C9 to enter even their own territory.
All right, so we got some auto turrets down. Very even in gold at the moment. We just talked about how there are a lot of squishy members in this game, so the burst damage from a Syndra is going to be super valuable, and that's something Jensen can use to carry this game.
Currently, it looks like one Cloud9 ward on the map, down in the bottom by the river. Other than that, they're checking all the brush with their skill shots. They're just cautiously moving up.
Okay, as many wards as wins for North America. Week 2.
Hey, they got 2 down there!
Oh, they might win this game then!
No,
it's
they've got
signal.
2 wins! It's amazing. We'll see what happens here. It's a portent of things to come. 700 gold difference. A Smoothie. Get a kill a control ward. And with it, the hopes and dreams of SKT, quite obviously. Here comes the fight into the top side of the river, though. Impact and Huni doing battle. Bang waiting around, but no ult to pop because no one worth attacking yet in range. Wouldn't kill Impact with this build just yet. He's been able to get a lot of armor for himself in the Maokai.
And I'm actually quite sad that Huni has gone for this build that's very specifically focused around winning against Impact with Black Cleaver to shred his armor and tears so you have enough mana to, you know, keep spamming your abilities. I really like, actually never mind, Contract's dying.
Knockup is there, the Shark didn't quite land, but the Wild Growth is a lot. Contract's now back to his team, he's got the shields, Vigor pushed away. Looking for more in the backline, Jensen on the chase. Look at the damage up and out of Twitch, but Contract stays up there as well. To the re-engage towards Bang. Barrier gonna time out. Force the team forced to run away. The kill did come through though. Huni found the snipe on the Contracts on the side of it all.
Yeah, Huni from the back there is able to kill him after C9 did so much to get Contracts out of that fight. That was so close because Impact wasn't there to block any of the damage. Now C9 pushing up mid though, and Huni is pushing on the top lane. He should make quick work of that turret.
It's Faker TPing in here towards the mid lane.
Comes forward, knows he has no ultimate available. Top lane tier 2 falls thanks to Huni's split push mid lane. The wave is gone, the turret's about 1/3 though.
Yep, Huni able to take his toll down there, and now Cloud9 have to respect the extra, oh, Faker?
Again,
The
no
extra
ulti.
Faker?
The damage is not really going to be that high, even though there's no matches at all out of Jensen. He's got the teammates around him.
Oh, there's only one Faker, no extra Faker, and Sneaky's gonna get a little bit of damage on the way out.
We've gotten so used to these really slow early to mid games where everyone's just farming and we have like 30 minutes to talk about whatever we want. But in this game here, whenever we bring up a point, another fight is just starting. This is towards mid lane. Contract is so aggressive, standing right in front of multiple SKT members.
Look how important that crowd control abilities are. Smoothie's able to save Contracts here with the ultimate as well. The knockup, and Sneaky goes offensive on Bang to force them out. But there you see, in the bottom of the screen, Huni was able to find Contracts, even though they've been able to extract him from that dangerous scenario.
And SKT once again looking for control. Vision has always been one of their their strongest points as a team. I was going to say most strongest, and I realized that's not a phrase I should say. So I said "blah" instead.
You were
better.
disgusted with yourself.
I was. Grammar's important, ladies and gentlemen. Stay in school. It's a big deal. SKT, though, getting rid of more and more of the wards. Their gold lead right now 2.3 thousand. Contracts can still Wolves, though. Opponent out of the pit there, but SKT certainly with a small control of this game, pushing in all 3 lanes.
I briefly mentioned Huni's build before here, which is so focused again on just dealing damage to Impact. If it had gone like more lethality with Ghostblade, he would hurt so much against the squishy guys. Obviously because of his high level, he's still going to do a lot of damage, but I still want to see the impact in an actual team fight with this build from him.
Oh, they caught Contract. He brings the Shark back into Jensen. 1 kill comes through. Jensen flashes away. This could still be dangerous. Faker pops the zone. He's thinking about a misclick. That one wasn't in range of much. But here comes the backline active. Force run away. 1 kill comes through, and Smoothie's already dead. Jensen next to Huni drives in and grabs the kill. Now on to Faker, but he pops away. He's going to stay alive, but this one Bang can't quite fall. Yes, 1 does come through to Impact, but he's the only one to get a kill at all. SKT have already grabbed themselves 3. The chase forward, looking for 1 more kill. Cloud9 get it as Blank falls.
Such an important engage from SKT. Again, we talk about impact not there. That means they have the freedom to go for this, and they pull off a really good dive, but once the teleport completes and impact arrives, he's able to secure a couple of turnaround kills for them, which Cloud9 desperately need. Otherwise, they're going to continue to bleed territory. This mid-turret's about to fall.
But once again, it all starts with SKT having superior vision on the map. There are so many places where SKT can hide and use this fish from Faker to just like fire from long range, and then Bang can open up. There's so little information on the map from C9. They can't see anything.
Exactly. I honestly think they should be under their turrets, not even in front of them, if they don't have Big Daddy Impact there to block some of the damage. The teleport cooldown itself, even if you start it immediately, it's short enough that SKT can get those kills in the meantime.
Yeah, but you can't have the Big Daddy there because he's stuck defending his lane against the Jace. Otherwise, they just lose a tower. So he needs these kids here to actually handle themselves in the mid lane, but because they don't know what's happening in the river, SKT can just move around, wait for a long ulti from Faker, Bang opens up, and then you have 4 squishy members dying in a few seconds.
That's the big thing for squishies right now. No one naturally going to buy a locket for the immediate durability to the rest of the teammates. Smoothie has himself a redemption, which can matter a little bit, but right now it's been difficult for Cloud9. The kill's still reasonably close. It's 5-8, the gold lead. 2,500 for SKT, certainly not insurmountable, but it is still the Koreans with the lead in this game.
I have to say, that problem you just brought up, Deficio, gets even worse for Cloud9 now, because Impact did have to use his teleport to join that fight, and Huni now has the teleport advantage. So Huni going to try and pressure on bottom side first. They have Faker on top side. It's a classic SKT kind of gaining control of the entire map right now to get the waves moving, get that pressure down, and try and pick C9 apart.
Yeah, normally you want to shut down Fizz in the early game where he's not very strong, and they tried. They had contracts around the mid lane multiple times, but Faker is currently sitting very even in farm with a ton of kills. He has teleport, he's sitting in a side lane where no one can stop him, and that means Faker is just going to be so impactful in this game here, and of course in the full late game, we know how tough it is to play against a Fizz. You can barely kill him in teamfights and he can burst you down.
Yeah, SKT, so much going in their favor right now. They're definitely on the offensive, especially with
again.
Faker's teleport also coming up very shortly here, and a dragon also spawning on the Rift. There are a lot of rewards that SKT could try and take right now.
They get for themselves. Mountain Drake just now spawns up here. Baron control's already there as they've got all that vision on this side. Bang looking for his first opening. Finds Sneaky. Couple attacks come through. There's a dunk in. Blade's probably going to come out after a second, but Sneaky already pushed out of the fight. Gets away from the Shark, but he might burn down. Needs another shield. Barrier will time out, and he might get poisoned. Someone to heal from Smoothie keeps him up, but that is a lot lost by Cloud9. SKT have complete control for this Drake now.
And we just saw that kind of engage before here where it was a few kills for SKT. Now it's just the Mountain Drake they will get, but a few summoners blown on the side of Cloud9 as well. So that just means in the next few minutes we might see the exact same opening a third time, but this time giving even more kills to SKT.
3 summoners out of Cloud9, none out of SKT. The Drake picked up without contest here as Huni continues to get more gold and experience. Highest level in the game at 15. He's got the most gold last I checked as well, so he is the one to watch for as the major carry force. Sneaky still trying to scale up. Hurricane, despite really not being against a lot of melee, bit of an interesting choice, but it's one he went for here.
I'm thinking of a scenario here where Cloud9, once they have Impact's Flash available, should just try and group up and force a large fight with him on the front lines, leading the charge, because that would be the way where they could actually gain momentum in one of these, instead of sitting around here, having SKT continue to nearly sideswipe them here in the mid lane and get big chunks of health.
So one of the ways to do that is by just starting the Baron and forcing SKT to move in and take the 5-on-5 team fight. But starting the Baron against champions like Fizz and Twitch is so risky because if you don't see them, they just surprise you.
And it puts you on a timer. Jace, Huni on the bottom side, trying to take the turret. Here they go.
They're burning it quickly. The rest of the team coming around. TP just now channeled out from Huni. Here comes Faker on the backside as well. Who can he find? The Shark's going to find Barrier from Jensen. The fight continues as he looks for the kill. The Zinja's getting low. Flank into the front lines. The kill comes through to Faker. 1-0 so far to SKT. He's bought the zone. He's getting away as well. This could be a trade. Sneaky gets one. Or before in the fight, but the knockbacks continue, and Huni gets himself the second kill as the carries from Cloud9 are all gone. A double now out of Huni. Shock Blast gets the kill to Smoothies. The bot lane's gone. Nice little shot out of Contrast gets one, but it's 3 for 2 so far. The 2 remaining Cloud9 members running away as Bang is on the hunt. He's got the move speed, but he's still getting shot at. He can't quite find those kills just yet. Still +1 to SKT, and the Baron now going to be into their control.
That was such a well-played flank by Faker on the bottom side. It caused a lot of chaos in the backline of Cloud9. So even though Impact was there, and he tries to nail down the front line for Cloud9, Faker's in the backside, kind of delaying the DPS that they could put out.
And that's the thing, if you don't know where they're coming from or who you can engage on, you're just stuck here 5 members together. No one's going to touch Bang in this fight, and they're all going to try and jump onto Faker while trying to escape at the same time.
Exactly. Faker draws everybody's attention and still is able to solo out Jensen, giving them so much momentum in this fight that then SKT, they just run straight through with Bang auto-attacking and creating this pressure. Now, Contracts makes a smart move here, and he does have vision of Huni, so he's able to land that last shot. But again, it was advantage SKT getting the extra kill.
And we just talked about why C9 will try and make this play here. Force a 5-on-5 team fight. You need vision around the Baron though, especially behind it, so you can actually see SKT when they move towards you, and then you turn. You instantly flash engage with the Maokai, so you're not stuck like we saw here in this fight.
Then they had to turn again, back around 360 because Faker was behind them and they were just spinning in circles.
As you saw on the graph in the last fight, Sneaky had done the most on his team in the last one. Of course, we know that Huni had played the North American LCS. You can see the overall record of impact against him, and Huni's been getting the better. Looks like he might one more time. Of course, this time with a stronger team. Still looking good for SKT.
And now we're also getting that lethality from Huni here, so he can deal that DPS against all the squishy members. Basically, he's been winning his side lane. He's been joining his team when needed. But honestly, it's been about the 4 members on SKT just constantly finding engages on C9.
Yeah, he's on separate sides right now. As Faker looking for the play against Jensen, not going to find it here. We had seen Impact look for Huni, but didn't find it in the bot side, so disengages on both halves.
Yeah, the cooldown of Righteous Glory is actually something to track as well. Everyone always focuses on these summoner spells, but Righteous Glory movement speed and that engage for Impact is also very important. It's a much lower cooldown, so he kind of tried to use it there to grab Huni. It was unable to, and they'll have to work around this as well.
But it's still 90 seconds, so it's going to be up about the same time Huni's teleport is back up, so there's not much of a different window there. Off by about 20 in the favor of Impact, but we'll see what comes next.
And again, it's so much on Impact to, he's trying to basically herd the rest of the members of SKT to pin them down and allow Cloud9 to get off their damage, but it's been so difficult, and SKT has done such a good job. Look at the vision on both sides here. They're just constantly pressing in.
Yeah, it's such a problem for Cloud9 that they cannot stop the 2 split pushers, so their side lanes are always getting pushed down to where the tier 2 towers are, and that means that C9 are always afraid that someone's going to roam into mid, like shoot them from the side with a long-range Fizz ulti or the Shock Blast from Huni, and it just makes you play very defensive in mid lane, and then you always give over the priority to Bang to just sit in that mid lane and surprise you.
SKT have such an arsenal at their command now. It feels like all of Cloud9's squishy members have to dodge every single skill shot, or else SKT are going to pounce on it.
The arsenal is bigger right now. It is 1 missile short. Faker's ulti was down. Huni's teleport now also gone, but he's rejoined the team to make sure that's not going to be a 5v4, but it looks like they want in. They can get the kill, and the Faker's going to jump away. He's going to be okay with the Zonia's True Shot Barrage Forces. Flash out of the member. SKT going to lose another couple of cooldowns, but they get away alive.
Good play right here from Cloud9. They're moving Impact from the bottom lane. As soon as Huni is not in that lane, just perma pushing, group him up with the team, as Kobe has mentioned multiple times, and they try and find an engage. Sadly, they don't get a kill.
They do get the flash, but they're not able to force anything else like, oh, a Baron or anything like that, because SKT has so much vision. They would want to try and also get like Faker's teleport out or something, but SKT seem to be able to recover very quickly from that because all of their groundwork, pushing up the side waves, all of the vision that's already been laid in the jungle.
That's the thing, these professional teams, when it comes to split pushers, always talks about windows. When you're pushing down the enemy top lane to his tower, you have a window where you can roam. You can go to the mid lane because you have the control in that lane. When he then gets to push the wave back, you have to respect that he can actually leave the top lane and go to his team, and that's exactly what Impact just did. And that's why we see C9 try and make a pick in the mid lane, try and force a Baron. He needs to be able to do that again, because right now, it's on Huni. He has the window, he used it to recall and buy a few items, but then he can just return and do exactly the same thing, and it should allow Impact at least a chance to push out the lane and move to mid lane again and join his team and look for a fight.
We've seen, speaking of looking for fights, Faker's been fishing for his ultimates quite frequently, but the cooldown pretty short. It's about 40 seconds base at this point, so he just looks once every couple of waves, doesn't find it. SKT able to, hide back easily.
Exactly. The cooldown is so short, and the rewards would be so big if he can land one of those fish that it's definitely worth throwing him out. Right now, Huni is starting up this Drake. Because Impact is getting close, he might have to respect it, but there they go.
Oh, Sun's got him out of the EQ. Blanket's no way out. The flash doesn't mean anything, but look at the damage out of Bang. He's He's trying to shoot him down. Not just yet, though. Gonna kite back. The 1-for-0. The solo mountain strike might not mean much. Faker over the wall. Not caught by the root just yet. But the chase for impact. They have the W. He's not quite in range. Not gonna get it there, and Huni gets in the way out. But a 1-for-0 with no jungle means a chance at Baron for Cloud9.
Yeah, this time around, C9 gonna jump on the opportunity to force the big objective. Watch all the SKT poke.
But there's no ulti from Bang right now. Same from Faker. It's only Huni, and he just hit
Spike,
Impact.
no chance. The Spike should go through easily. Grabs into his contract with Impact. Not quite getting the root, but still. The 5v4s are much more to find. Faker still running them on the wild goose chase, but it's a slippery fish. Gets full root. Here comes the follow through. Knockups are in from Lulu. And Faker's still able to walk away. Jumps over the wall. He's going to be fine. Just the pick and the Baron, though, but this brings the game back to 3,500.
Faker so slippery with that blue buff, and Impact not able to lock him down. What can Cloud9 do with this window, Deficio? Big purple window. What are they going to get?
Hopefully for them a few towers so they can get a bit more gold under their belt, even out the score here with SKT. But right here, we had a window for Impact. He left the bottom lane, walked in to join the team. So when Blank gets caught out, Impact is already nearby to join the fight. Otherwise, this is a 4v4 that C9 could still lose. But the fact that Tank shows up forces everyone from SKT away. And now all the ultis are gone here. Very simple. C9 are playing well around Impact roaming from his lane, knowing when they can actually force a fight in mid. Blank got surprised right there, and that cost his team a lot.
Also, just want to say how impressive it is that Faker is able to constantly skirt around danger here, around the edge, and kind of drag Cloud9 around, delaying their time so that they weren't able to get a tremendous amount off of that yet. But now, C9 have reset. They do have teleport on Impact, and this is the time.
Still important to highlight that despite the Baron buff being on the side of Cloud9, a team fight is not necessarily purely in their favor with this buff here. There's so much damage on both sides that if you don't know where Bang is when he opens up, we just saw the DPS in the last fight, he can do the exact same thing.
It's a 4-item Twitch against only one tank. Impact is not Braum. He can't block all the shots. The back four of C9 can be dropped so very quickly. You have to watch for Bang.
They might actually try and force right through the mid turret because Huni is going to annihilate turrets right now. So much damage on this Jace.
Tier 2 is gone. He can't go faster than a Baron buff with 5 members, so he's going to keep staying for the inhibitor itself. This is going to be a bit interesting. The tanks are already in the front line. Faker waiting in the wings, and Huni is not recalling. He's not looking for the play just yet. Inhibitor turret is down to Bang. Not getting anything with the ulti. Getting across. There's nothing to be done. The inhibitor not being attacked, and Huni's still not going back. It will be. It looks like a trade of inhibitors. Is there more? Onto the back line. They found Bang a little bit. Impact did. They're looking for a bit more. The ulti across to the flank as well. By this one coming out from Sneaky. Doesn't find something because Huni is continuing to push. He is still going for the base, and Cloud9 are the first to flinch. They lose their turn. They've got to go back to the base. Will they lose the recalls? Impact gonna be back safely.
That Twitch poison stops a couple of Impact's attempts at recalls, and Huni is able to demolish the base there. What a quick trade, though. This is 1-for-1, and C9 still not out of here. Huni could come up from the red buff as well.
Now, Impact has TP as well. If C9 see it coming in, they can at least join the 5-on-5, and Huni right now only concerned with taking the jungle away. The better of the play was still SKT. They countered a Baron seed by getting an extra Nexus turret.
And it all starts with Bang and Faker positioning from the flanks to force C9 to focus them and the objectives at the same time. But they didn't get any kills. We'll get a top lane tower though, so a bit more gold in their pockets.
But the bot lane one-on-one I feel like might favor SKT. C9 might need their tank, and Huni actually happy to keep fighting Impact, putting more and more damage across, down a half HP on the Maokai. Not sure he can win this battle. The duel continues though. The health bars getting down below Hopper. Look at that empowered shock blast. Over he'll come through for Impact. The fight's getting lower and lower, but Huni gonna find himself the solo kill, and Cloud9 are still tankless.
Huni's tier right here allows him to have enough mana to actually just continue spamming the abilities in the 1v1.
And his red buff allowing him to regenerate and deal true damage constantly here versus the Maokai. Such small margins, honestly, with that minion wave there, it got a little close.
Yeah, the burn's certainly a big deal against a 500 armor champion. Slight exaggeration. The regen out of combat helping in case someone jumps him afterwards. Mid lane a little bit attacked right there as the Baron's timed out. Wave easy enough from Sneaky. He's still been the big member on this team. Lord Dominus Regards is in, so he has some tank busting. Only one slot to go for both these marksmen.
In these games here, with all the damage on both sides, we gotta look at flashes before every single big fight. Bang is missing his because it was forced by Impact in that little base defense from SKT's side. If they can actually flash engage onto him, there is a QSS that makes it a bit harder to lock him down, but he won't be able to flash away at least, and a lot of damage can follow.
So SKT, their game plan from here continues to look like create this pressure around Cloud9, play off the vision they already have surrounding this team. If they continue to poke on both sides and continue to poke with these fish that Faker is poking out, eventually they burn enough summoners that they can punish.
Keep in mind. You talk about pushing on both sides. One of those sides is the 4,000 gold lead on Huni's Jace right now. He is full build, level 18. He cannot get any stronger. Impact has more than a full item slot to go right now. So as time wears on, some of this gold doesn't matter for the Korean squad anymore. Cloud9 may catch up, but it is SKT with the tempo, looking for the forward, attacking. Can't quite get the kills, but it forces the flash of a smoothie.
All right, ulti down now. Bang used it very aggressively, trying to see if they can maybe force C9 away from this turret here. Bot lane in here, of course, is open, but we have Impact sitting and defending. Is there any blue wards behind SKT that this Maokai could use? Currently, no.
Even at the river.
There's only that one control ward near the Raptor camp, so no good TP location for the Maokai either.
Pushes in, that's going to be a turret dead right there. SK Telecom T1 up 5,000 gold as mid lane tier 2 falls 8-5 in turrets. 3-0 on Drakes as well, double mountain plus a cloud.
This is an Elder Dragon that's about to spawn on the field for SKT with 2 Mountain Drakes.
Yeah.
They would annihilate this very quickly.
4 times power on the Elder Dragon burn, thanks to the 3 elementals picked up so far. Huni splitting his focus now to the top side, away from the major objective. Red Elixir on turret, gonna fall rapidly. Look at the damage output there, it's gone, and 2 more autos. For now, he's gonna kite back away from Impact.
Cloud9 needs to force a team fight here. There is 30 seconds on Bang's ulti. Few seconds on his flash as well, but again, they need a ward they can use to TP on for Impact so he can leave that lane. Yeah, you might lose an inhib, but you gotta be able to force a 5-on-5 team fight, otherwise you're slowly just going to bleed out every single tower in that top lane.
38-25 is when Bang's ultimate comes back up to cooldown. It's essentially here when the fight comes through. As soon as anyone meets, he's gonna have that ulti right back available.
The problem here is that there is a super minion on a single Nexus turret that will destroy the Nexus turret itself. C9 have no time. They have to force, and that's why SKT are just delaying them.
They're happy to go back and forth in this one. Top lane Nexus, or sorry, Inhibitor turret could fall as well, as the Maokai is going to have to go back to his own base. As Huni is going to have that available now. It might be a smite by TP in for the Maokai. They want this battle. Cloud9 though. The Elder Dragon resets, and Huni still has free time into the base. Contract pushed back by the Shark. They need to do something on this one.
Huni's going for the finish!
Huni's going to win the game outright. He's onto the Nexus already. Cloud9 have botched the macro management. SKT without even a kill at the end of it all. Just going to close it out. The #1 seed for South Korea's SK Telecom T1 has been secured.
And C9 stuck in an almost impossible situation in the end. You have to be able to defend against the Jace, against the super minions, and also take the fight at the Elder Drake. All 3 things at the same time, it was way too much, and obviously it all comes down to SKT getting ahead in this game and putting himself in that situation in the first place.
One of the questions for SKT coming into Worlds was which 6 players were they going to bring. They chose to bring Huni. They didn't even bring his understudy in Untara. It's only that man right there on your screen, the only top laner they have for this tournament. He didn't even play all their games. He was more the understudy to Untara. And his style had been carries more than anything else. His Jace right here, they played around it so well. He had more farm than anyone, more gold than anyone. He single-handedly destroyed the base for SKT and was that killing blow.
So much work put in by SKT, constantly chipping away at summoner spells, keeping up the wards on both sides, the pressure never relenting.
Exactly. We saw a few times where C9 found a fight. Impact able to leave his lane when he got to push towards the river.